Hello. So I'll be answering the individual question first, using the relevant topic of interest to you. Describe how a public meeting would be structured for each step in the ladder of citizenship participation. So my interest is gender and women's studies, and in the first area here, non-participation, they explain that these two rungs describe non-participation so that people think that they're making a difference, but those who are not power holders are not engaged or involved in this area of the discussion. And for non-participation, my meeting would look like, well, the specific interest in gender and women's studies is reproductive rights that I have written here. So if my meeting were on the non-participation rung of the ladder, I would think that my meeting would be a lot of men discussing women's reproductive rights, and how those affect them in a sense, opposed to how they actually affect women. So the conversation itself would be biased, but in addition, the conversation would also be one-sided. It wouldn't be men particularly taking the view of women or trying to empathize or understand or raise consciousness or awareness to a woman's perspective. But from what I understand of the non-participation step in the ladder, they assume that they're doing something to change things, but they're not enabling those people in which they are discussing to participate, which means they wouldn't be able to participate in a physical sense or in an ideological sense either. So I would assume that that meeting would be men discussing women's reproductive rights from their male perspective only. Tokenism, the next step here. I think that meeting would be a little bit different. I think in that meeting, citizens are considered to be there, informing and consulting. So in that case, that meeting would allow women to attend the meetings, but not allow public policies to be made in consideration of women's ideas concerning reproductive health and reproductive freedoms. So again, you're allowing women to participate in the discussion and gain knowledge, and you feel as though something has been accomplished, but you're not allowing them to implement their ideas in any kind of concrete or, institutionalized manner. And on the last step here, citizen power. Obviously, you would have to partner with women. You would have to delegate that power to women, and in a sense give up control of what is a typical patriarchal society. So public policies created by women and for women concerning reproductive health and reproductive freedoms. This article was really interesting, and I did look up the author, Sherry, and I'm fairly certain this was written from an Afrocentric perspective. I think she was African American, and it was written during the 60s for the first time. 1969, I think Nixon was in office. Maybe not Nixon. Maybe, I don't know. But really powerful. I mean, considering that it was written in 1969 by an African American woman. I mean, she was definitely trying to express her desire to be recognized as a citizen, and the levels at which participation is not guaranteed to women, to African Americans, to people of color. But this was a great article. I really enjoyed that. So the second question, my group question, is having to do with the 3 stages of the research process and how can each one be an opportunity to promote empowerment. I think this whole process, the way that they or Irma staged the, I think Irma is a woman. I tried to look this one up online too. And I think both of our authors are women this week, so I appreciate that, Court. Thank you. That doesn't happen in every classroom. I feel like I'm studying feminist research and goals in the other class, and I feel like this method of research, the stages of research, and the way that they're described are very similar to feminist advocacy research, in which case the researchers and the researched kind of become one, and they kind of assimilate. There's kind of this, you know, perspective that's linking those people that are researching to those people that have been researched, so that it becomes the researched that are actually gaining knowledge from the project, in a sense, more so than the researchers, I would think. So entry is the first stage, and I thought it was really interesting that they use the word community a lot in here. And obviously you could define community in a number of ways. You could say it is an American community, it is my gender and women's studies community, it is my African American community, it's my poverty-stricken community. I mean, however you would define community, the research effort should be housed in the community, not outside of it. You don't want to displace people who you are attempting to research. So therefore, you're telling them, hey, you're important enough to be researched within your own location. And obviously, I'm talking about a physical sense here of location, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. You know, if you're researching someone within their community, it gives them a sense of empowerment, period, because you're stepping into their area where they're safe, where they're comfortable, opposed to being drawn outside of it, where they feel like their ideas and their opinions have to be altered in some manner to shape an opinion that someone else may hold. I really liked our readings this week, so I'll try to move through this faster. It is an important thing to establish a relationship. I'm reading on page 176 through 177 here. Establish a relationship of trust and honesty where the commitment to an equal distribution of resources within the research process is clear. How does that not define empowerment when you're researching people? A relationship of trust and honesty where the commitment to an equal distribution of resources. I think this method of research is it's comprehensive. It kind of gathers in the information we talked about before, but again, I just keep thinking of advocacy research, you know, that is typically a feminist approach to research. I really feel like this links with that. In continuation, again, we see the words community here, where we say ask open-ended questions, life histories, or any other format that allows for an unadulterated input from the community. And again, that sense of community, it's not just one person, it's not one organization, it's an idea that collaborates with several people, suggesting that we should lift up and kind of indulge in this idea of togetherness opposed to isolation. And the third one, ending, in which the final stage of the research processes includes the analysis and interpretation of the data. This is on page 179, which seems, you know, fairly simple, but at the same rate it says the interpretation of the data should be done as a collectivity, as collectively as possible. I think that sentence has a lot in it. I think that making sure that you're collectively recognizing this is just the complete opposite of scientific method, which seems to be extremely male dominated and you know, not it's biased. Scientific method is extremely biased. Where in this research you're recognizing community, you're looking at the institutional affiliations that these folks may have, you're looking at the research participants as a whole, opposed to one scientific fact about them. So, alright. Sorry, mine's long. Thanks. Bye.